I just got back from New York City for the first time ever, funnily enough, which I even am surprised at. I haven't been to New York until just now. So here's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about some of the things that I learned, and the fact that I do not think that we are in a Bitcoin bull market. I know that's going to offend some people who are basically coping about the fact that we are in a bull market, but we're not in a bull market. We are basically having a great NASDAQ year, right? We're so far up 20 to 25% year to date. That's not a bull market, right? I'm sorry, that's not a bull market. We're not in a bull market right now. We will enter a bull market at some point, but we're not in a bull market right now. So, as far as, again, there's a series of things that I want to break down that I've learned from my trip here. There's no way I'm going to be able to do them on one video, so make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can understand. There's a couple different things. I want to talk a lot about market dynamics, a lot about price, and a lot about strategies, preferred income products, Bitcoin treasury companies, opinions around that, etc., etc. So make sure you subscribe to the channel because those videos are coming. Now, what was I doing in New York? Well, firstly, I went to ring the closing bell at the NASDAQ on behalf and with YieldMax, Tidal, and MSTY. So it was awesome to do that. That was a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Thank you so much for everyone over at Tidal, Michael, Jay, Scott, everyone else, the whole team that invited me to go along and do that. It was awesome. Seeing your face on the Jumbotron at Times Square is quite unsettling, but it is what it is. It was awesome. So yeah, that was an awesome experience. Went to do that. Then had a private meeting with Robert Mitchnick, who's basically the head of digital assets at BlackRock, which was awesome. I want to congratulate him. I mean, just to put into perspective, he was basically a call option hire for BlackRock in 2018. And in that time period, he's now basically, they filed for the ETF June 2023. And then 2024 it was approved, and now IBIT is the #1 revenue generating product under the BlackRock umbrella in the US. And as soon as they breach $88 billion, they will be the #1 revenue generating product for BlackRock worldwide. So basically, in shy of 2 years of him being able to execute what he wanted to execute as far as IBIT goes, that's the success of it. And I want to thank him for giving me the time. Obviously, we've been connected on email for a while now. Now that it's on my Twitter, I can say this now. Connected for a while now, and I just really appreciate everything that BlackRock does for all markets. I think they force everybody to raise their standards. And I think that's good for the market. They offer this guiding rail to the market, which is why the market and $11 trillion of wealth, and probably, I'm speculating here, but about $150 to $200 trillion of wealth is influenced by BlackRock, but $11 trillion is directly managed, the biggest apex predator asset manager in the world. And I want to thank him for taking some time out to chat with me a little bit and answer some burning questions that I had. Because really, British HODL and the message that I've had, getting to one Bitcoin and everything else, if you track back my channel, the jets really turned on this message June 15, 2023, which is when they applied for the ETF. Because that was like my signal for, wait, hold on a second. Pause. They've filed. Right? And what most people didn't realize is as soon as BlackRock files, they're not filing for, they're not filing to throw punts out there, right? They're filing because they're very certain about what they want to do. And again, and you've seen the results that IBIT has produced. It's been absolutely phenomenal. Now, I want to just thank those people for having me there, et cetera, et cetera. And I do want to say, of course, a lot of these conversations with both parties that I specifically mentioned and other parties that I won't mention, if you want to see the pictures, I'll put it in the description. You can go see the link to my X posts on that. And of course, I want to thank the people that showed up to PubKey which is where the president announced his support for Bitcoin. I basically said on a Wednesday, hey, I'll be there on a Friday at 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And from, I didn't count, I couldn't count, there's too many people, but from my friends that did count, it looks like we had somewhere in the region of 60 people show up just to say hi. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to come say hi and share thoughts with me. Truly appreciate that. Now, we are not in a bull market, right? All the hysteria that's been going on, all the dumb fuckery, excuse my language, that's been going on, it's silly, right? People have done exactly what I said they were going to do, exactly what I predicted they were going to do, which is sell down their Bitcoin position, get into a treasury company at a 4x MNAV, get bored by that treasury company, sell out at a 3x MNAV, and then take that money that's now diluted in Bitcoin terms and get into a 7x MNAV because that's the one that's getting the headlines. And all along the way, they're diluting their Bitcoin position. And I think that's causing sell pressure on Bitcoin, right? Because if you sell your Bitcoin, basically 1-for-1, you sell that, and now get into a company that's got a 5x MNAV, they now need to make up that 5x MNAV. So now there's a delay on when that Bitcoin gets purchased from the market again by that company, right? So I think that's what's been causing a lot of the price action that we've seen. But there's other stuff I want to talk about. Price action goes. I'm going to put that in another video, so make sure you subscribe to the channel. But really, I don't think we're in a bull market. We're at a 20 to 25% year-to-date rise. This is basically a great NASDAQ year. I also think, careful how I'm going to say this, here's what I want you to do. If you've been following me for a while, I want you, if you're very smart, bearing in mind, I respect privacy when I have conversations about things with people, certain people. I want you to realize the further emboldening of positions that I've already had, or the changing of positions that I had, and read between the lines, okay? That's what I want you to do. That's what I want you to be smart at, and I want you to learn how to do that and how to read through things, because I think that's going to be very, very important, and it is the only way that I can communicate certain things, right? So being frank about it. So look, I've been saying this for months. I think the cycles have changed, and I think you're going to see, you know, I don't think a 400% rise in the period of 4 months and then an 80 to 90% dip is conducive for big asset managers, right? I don't think Fidelity wants to see that. I don't think BlackRock wants to see that. I don't think anyone wants to see that. Because remember, what the incentives, right? Follow the incentives. The incentives are that we make money from fees, right? And those fees have to be ongoing. And so what is the point of taking $20 billion to $80 billion for 4 months and then coming crashing back down to, you know, $25, $30 billion? It doesn't make any sense. You want it to rise, you want it to stay there, and you want it to be there for a long period of time. And this is exactly what happened with the gold ETF in 2004. So that's the trend that I've been saying I think is going to happen for Bitcoin price action. And I think the current state of this quote-unquote bull market is exactly where we're at. I think you have to watch liquidity cycles a lot more closely than you have as a Bitcoiner. I think it's taking a lot more capital to move the price. There will be acute periods where the price moves a lot because of the capital that's coming in and the supply dynamics in those short moments, which is where the 118-to-1 bull market multiplier comes into it. But generally speaking, I think we're going to see a very, very steady, gradual rise on Bitcoin, and I think it's going to be a number of years because we're not in a bull market. None of this is bull market energy, right? And a lot of people are dumping their Bitcoin to buy treasury companies and all this other stuff, and in the meanwhile not realizing that what they're actually doing is diluting their Bitcoin position, which, by the way, as soon as the institution's gone in, is exactly what I told you was going to happen. And since, you know, the ETFs were basically started trading, we've seen like a roughly 1 million to 1.5 million coins pivot from retail to institutional hands. So congratulations, you've basically given up control of the most pristine capital, most pristine asset humanity has ever created, and the goal of getting to 1 Bitcoin. Hopefully you've hit it. If you haven't, and you've tried to speculate, trying to think I can get ahead, this, that, and the other, not understanding that Bitcoin was the underlying position, then congratulations, you played yourself. So the institutions are here. I also did a great interview while I was in New York with, if I may say so myself, with Tim Kotzman, who, by the way, I think is doing a great job at educating on Bitcoin treasuries and putting that information out there. So I'll put that link in the description as well. Make sure you go watch that. It was a great conversation that we had about where we're at in this current status of the market. But overall, I do not think we're in a bull market. I do think there's exciting things happening, and there's things that you need to be aware of in the background, and I want to discuss those. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, because ultimately, there's always only 3 rules to Bitcoin. Step number 1, you buy Bitcoin. Step number 2, shut the fuck up. And step number 3, you get fabulously wealthy.